Hi, and welcome to Radius, Diameter, and Circumference. Now if we draw a circle, radius is just the distance from the middle of the circle to the outside edge, like so, from here to the outside. And that's by the shortest distance to the outside. In other words, a straight line. And we could represent radius with r. R for radius. So let's draw 3 different circles, different sizes. Your radius is always the distance from the middle of the circle to the outside edge, which is equal to half the diameter. So it doesn't matter how big or how small our circle is. If you go from the very middle of the circle to the outside edge, or from the outside to the middle, each of those are a radius. And in our case over here, the lower left, we have 2 radiuses, or radii. So I hope you're having a good giggle at my very bad versions of circles. And I know that yours are, hey, that might be one of the best circles I've ever drawn. Now here's our radius again, halfway across the circle. I'm just going to change the color to one of my favorite colors. Diameter is simply going all the way across the circle, like this. And that's our diameter. And I should mention that that green line should be halfway across the circle, and obviously mine's not too accurate, but I know yours will be a lot closer to the middle of the circle. So we can represent diameter as d. And that diameter is equal to 2 times the radius. Another way of saying that is that diameter is double the radius. Diameter equals 2 times r, which is our radius. Circumference is the distance around the outside of your circle. So here we have a nice lunch plate that you might put your sandwich on or whatever you're having for lunch. The distance around the outside is your circumference. So if we go right around the outside here, we'll see how close I can get. That red line indicates the circumference. Now if we could measure that outside accurately, we would know how far it is around the circle. I'm just making up numbers, but let's say we'll start at the green line, and if we go all the way around to here, and if we could stretch the red part out, stretch the red line out, and measure that, that would tell us the circumference, and it might be 30 centimeters around. Here's a biscuit. Now I like Oreos better than tea biscuits, but I couldn't find an Oreo. So here's our biscuit. Our circumference is a distance around the outside, like so. So C represents circumference. The distance around the circle is represented by a C, which is a nice shorthand for circumference. Radius is represented by R. And remember that 2 times the radius equals diameter. And we use D for diameter. So 2 times the radius, 1 and 2, gives us our diameter. So diameter is related to radius because diameter is equal to 2 times the radius. Did you also know that circumference is related to diameter? And in order to investigate that relationship, we need to look at one of my favorite numbers, which is pi. And it's represented with this Greek letter. And it's fun to draw too. So pi is an approximation, and we'll say it's approximately equal to 3, but it's actually 3.1415, and a whole bunch of other numbers. Later in your mathematics career, you might want to help find a more accurate estimate of pi. And you'd be following a long line of famous people if you did that, such as Isaac Newton, Euler, and Gauss, among many, many others. So, to calculate circumference, we get to use our good friend pi, because pi is very handy. So circumference is equal to diameter times pi, which is also equal to 2 times radius times pi, because as we've already learned, diameter equals 2 times radius.